Pfizer engineer. I'm yet to understand exactly what piper means, but hey, thanks for having me here, and I'm elated to join this space. My name is JohnPaul Okwi, and I'm a passionate marketer. Started my craft in finance and accounting, got into sales, and I think I found my passion in marketing. So it's been a bit of a journey right there. Currently, I work with MTN Uganda in marketing, but I also support on the Chartered Institute of Marketing modules at Datamine, which is an accredited CIM study center. And truly excited to be here to ref this bout of heavyweight champions, sales and marketing. Let's get started, man.
It's funny how you said you were first in accounting and finance, and I'm literally just finding out all these things right now, and that's the same assumption people always take when they see me. They see me, you're in digital marketing and influence, and they're like, do you know these things because you've been a marketeer all your life? No, I was an engineer. And I was called engineer, Piper the engineer. But anyway, let's just get into it. So today's topic, guys, is sales versus marketing. Why? Because it seems like out there in the offices and the workplaces we've been at, sales teams think the marketing teams are out of touch with reality. They hear us talking about email lists and social media and marketing funnels, and they're like, what are those? For us, we talk to clients for real. And then marketing teams also look back at salespeople and say, you guys are just myopic. You're just literally focusing on one customer experience. Us, we are focusing on a whole segment, demographics, price changes, geographic, and all that. But the one part you skipped out of your introduction is I found out that before you actually became a marketer, you were working for as a business developer, business development manager for about 4 years.
That's correct.
And you were managing a team of 7. And this is a sales gig 101. So in the red corner, I want you to introduce sales.
There you have it. I like the whole bail thing. Yes, and I think professionally they go like, and ladies and gentlemen, in the red corner, boxing from Kampala, Uganda, the sales department. Yes, you're absolutely correct. I did business development, which is a sexier name for salespeople, really, sales management. And I had a sales force team of about 7 people. And truth be told, after a couple of years, I got to realize that, sales, we're all salesmen, all saleswomen. Either you're selling yourself to your employer, you're probably selling yourself to your spouse. These days, things can be really tight. You're probably selling yourself to the neighbors. They need to think of you in a particular way, your friends, colleagues, peers. So literally, that's one point down for sales, because all of us in one way or the other are salespeople. We are selling something. About churches are selling faith, mosques are selling, the doctrine of Islam and all that kind of. So sales is everywhere. And Faisal, you know that quote that says that there's that the oldest profession there is. Do you know what that profession is? Faisal, you're just being political. But so these are not my words, but they said there's that famous statement that said that prostitution is the oldest profession, and tell you what, that's a sales job, really. I'm not going to tell you what they are selling, really. That's not what we are discussing here. But the point here is that sales has been here for the longest time, and sales is always going to be around. There's always going to be people buying things, and that means effectively there's always going to be need to have people behind that process. There's always going to be somebody behind to manage that entire process. And even with the advent of technology, many people are thinking that, wow, we have a lot of technology right now. We have social media platforms. We have mobile marketing platforms. We have artificial intelligence, machine. All these sorts of things could really give you the impression that sales is not going to be here anytime soon. But sales is actually here to stay. So the technology that we talk about simply is here to aid the process of sales and not really to replace it. And but what we must be cautious about in the sales space is that the sales process is also now changing. It's evolving. Gone are the days when salespeople would, hound customers and prospects to make a sale, call after call, visit, interrupt, ambush, name it, just in order to make that pitch. That is no longer the case. Sales today is changing. It's evolving into sales right now. The sales pitch as we know it is evolving into what we call the customer experience. It's a bit of a strange thing because back in the day, customer experience was synonymous with marketing. But now we are saying that, sales is really becoming a management of a customer experience or a prospect experience leading into the customer. And therefore, in as much as we know we are all salespeople in one way or the other, sales has been here, it's not going anywhere. That process, the conventional, traditional sales pitch is changing. And I think we will no longer think of sales as a transaction. We will probably have to start thinking of sales as a relationship, and that's where the change is happening.
Okay, still in the red corner. Anyway, still in the red corner. So while I was going about my research, I found something that said salespeople are born; they are not made. And this article was kind of trying to point out that not everyone can actually be a salesperson, because I know some people are shy, and selling somewhere requires, that personal element. Leave this whole, you're behind a PC and then you're just texting people, it's a robot, it's AI. But just like how you say customer experience, and technology goes hand in hand with humans. It works seamless with humans. So, is it really true that salespeople are born and you actually cannot make a salesperson? Because marketing is it's a skill you develop over time. Yeah, you learn how to talk to people, you learn how to look nice, how to smell nice. Literally, you learn how to present exactly what your client is going to fall in love with before you even talk to them. Yeah, but sales, there are people. I mean, even in our kindergarten, there are these kids who are just bright. You're in kindergarten, this kid is already selling his juice. Yeah, wow. You're in school. We were in. I remember we were in Chibudu. Yeah, and there's this guy, I don't know how he even thought about it. So this Chiteli, so this guy would go break time, buy like 20 donuts, 20 those fat donuts, because he knows during after prep time people are hungry, canteens are closed, and there's no food. So he's actually going to do a sale. Yeah, and he didn't come from a sales background. His parents were not even salespeople. He just had that thing of look at an opportunity, find out of exploiting it to get money. Yeah, and someone like me who was doing PEM, physics, engineering, math, and economics failed to actually make money the entire time I was in Chiten. So is it actually true that salespeople are born, or it's just something of the past?
Yeah, I mean, good question. You've reminded me of those donuts after preps. Those things were life-giving, I tell you. I was one of those that used to buy. Yeah, we also had a guy like that. Tell you what, I mean, just like any, I think this debate has happened over and over again. Are salespeople innately skilled or born salespeople? Are leaders, for example, even in corporate organizations, are these leaders in politics? Are they born with these innate human skill sets that get them at some kind of advantage over others? I'll tell you what. I think my personal opinion is that sales, and again, like I was saying, sales is changing. Sales is evolving. Back in the day, sales was about, come up, present your product, and try to hard sell this person into buying it. Sales today, like I said, it's an experience. It's about actually 90% of the top salespeople are actually friends. Now, can you be friendly? Because, the dynamics have changed. Customers today are very knowledgeable about a lot of things. Before they even come to you or approach a brand, they have probably done some level of, research. They are knowledgeable. They have checked the internet. So customers are not looking for salespeople. They're looking for buddies, people who have their back, guys who own and ladies who are out to solve problems. They're not looking for salespeople. So if you tell me, if you ask me, is sales really a skill? Yes and no. So there are certain innate skills that, like if you're friendly, there are people who are naturally outgoing. So they will probably have a comparative advantage to other people who are a little bit, But like I said, strangely, everybody is a salesperson in a way. And, just like what we try to sell and teach at Datamine, we are trying to empower people with certain, approaches. And they are learnable, For instance, understanding the psychology of, engagement. How do you talk to somebody? How do you win them over? Because again, now that could be a marketing, stronghold, but even in sales, it's not just about, hello, hi, I have this product and whatever, it's about relationship, how friendly, how likable. And then I'll tell you something very, very strange. When you are friendly and you're a salesperson, what's going to happen is that you're going to morph the sales process into an emotional realm. And, for example, in one of the models that we teach at CIM called Managing Brands, we discuss how emotions supersede our rational thinking. Customers are less likely to be judgmental when you're friendly, when they like you, when you have a good attitude, even though a brand makes a mistake, even though there is a claim that there was some rat in some smoothie somewhere. But if your brand, if your people are good, if your salespeople are likable, they smile, they talk, customers and prospects are most likely going to be a little bit more kind. They are going to be a bit less sensitive to price. So I believe that the traits that we need to develop are likability, friendship. And guess what? Those things are not innately born with at childbirth and whatever. I think we can learn them. We can be more tolerant. We can listen more. For example, many salespeople are very good at hard selling. They want to come drop the product in your face and breathe down your head, and they're not listening, and yet you could just listen a bit more to what the person's problem is and tailor your product to their buying strategy. So that, and that doesn't need you to be born a listener. You can just listen a bit more. You can be more intentional about these things, learn them and practice them. Yeah, so we're all salespeople. 10 for the sales department and 0 for marketing this far.
Well, sorry about that. If you're just joining in, this is the Marketing and Datamine podcast. We host this every Thursday at 6 p.m. We also have a YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, search for Marketing and Datamine. You'll see all our previous episodes. Yeah. Now, John, that was amazing. I loved it. It actually took me back to the time I read Influence. So there's a time I just joined my team, and the 2 people I was working with were amazing. One was called Brian. He had been in the hotel sector for forever. The other one was Nadim. Nadim was a guru with numbers. You tell him the event and he calculate everything for you. And for a procurement officer booking an event, that's all they needed from a salesperson. Yeah. So I tried to walk around with them, copy what they were doing, until Brian sat me down and told me, you know what, go look for a book called Influence and read it. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. And some of the things you are mentioning are actually in this book. The fact that you can use emotion to sway someone just because, let's say, you're wearing a perfume they love, a perfume their dad wears, And this also takes me back to the awards we just attended over the weekend, where Dr. Dorothy was talking about how customer experience is a lot more than just demographics. You need to know this person. Who are their parents? How old are they?
Correct.
Are they even sick? Are they in hospital? Yeah. So it kind of anyway, it told me that you don't really have to be a born salesperson. You can learn these things. You can learn the reciprocity principle. Yeah. Well, I go to an office, I can pass around cookies, and then by the time I start talking, they feel like they need to repay me back, even if the cookies were for free. So guys, if you want to know in detail what Mr. John was talking about, you can first of all enroll at Datamine because he's teaching this. Secondly, you can look up a book called Influence. I think I've forgotten the author, but it's a very popular book. It's amazing when it comes to learning how to be a perfect sales marketing personnel. Back to the red corner, yeah. Salespeople, there's this myth of when it comes to marketing, all you need to do is generate leads. Yeah. Because I've been part of marketing teams and I've seen the excuses they use sometimes. They're like, you know what? We generated 10,000 leads. What are you people doing with the sales team? Asking the sales team. And the sales team is like, well, you're giving us poor quality leads. You're giving us kids who are in university. You know, they cannot afford to come to buy this product or to come and use this service. And when it comes to the sales team, they're kind of trying to make it look like all they're about is revenue. They're not about retention, they're not about customer experience. They literally leave that to marketing. Yeah. So before we go to the blue corner, I want you to support your people in the red corner. Are they just big headed that they are only supposed to focus on revenue, or has the game changed?
Yeah, I mean, we're still trouncing these marketing guys in the red corner. So yes, I'll tell you something. Sales is it's not a walk in the park. Well, literally, all professions are not. There's really none that is. Although the salespeople think that the marketing guys always just sit in their AC and chill and all that kind of stuff. So yes, and I would really want to support them in this regard, because marketing's primary function is to prime. And I'm using that word very deliberately, prime the customer. Priming the customer means that you are coming up with, you're understanding their needs first and foremost, and then you're coming up with products and services that would then offer value. So, because that's what marketing is about. You know, forget that whole definition, those academic definitions, but what marketing really does is it creates value, and some of that value is retained by the business, and that's where the profits come in. So, when they create that value, then they communicate that value to the customers effectively. And that requires marketers to understand who they are talking to very precisely. Not wishy-washy. The guys stay in Nalia. They are this. They are. You need to know what do they like? What are their attitudes? What are their beliefs? It has to be such an intricate relationship that these marketers, gather. Then after you have done that, you also then communicate the product and service. You create awareness about it, so that by the time the sales guy comes around, what's the sales guy, what are they doing? They are coming around to close. They're coming to now, wrap up the conversation and say, oh, by the way, yeah, we heard about that fantastic product, and they just put the icing on the cake and but because marketing sometimes is probably over-focused on, say, advertising, because some people think marketing is advertising. Others, it is being online, sending nice tweets, jokes, and whatever. And you have no business. You're not refining your leads. You're not out there to refine and ensure that you're coming up with leveraging technology, for example, to come up with better leads, that are what we call hot leads. What we are doing is we're coming out some marketers, because probably they're not well resourced in terms of tools and all these kinds of things that they need. They come up with very cold leads. So the sales guys, when they go, maybe the advert itself, let's talk about advertising, because maybe that's what people maybe the advert isn't communicating through, benefits. It's communicating the product, but maybe not the benefits. So the sales guy feels so labored. So I start from scratch. I'm like a sales guy. Listen, I have targets hanging on my head, and I have to spend 1 hour with this guy. And then guess what? The guy has not even understood, so I do twice as much. And then guess what? These marketing chaps are like in their key department. They're chilling and whatever. Me, I'm in the sun, facing customers and potentials and things that, there's just such, and obviously I will blame them. I will be like, you guys, your adverts are not telling people exactly what we want them to know. Maybe you're spending too much money. Well, let's get some of that money and hire more salespeople. Because you see, that's a rational conversation. If, for example, we have, instead of 10 salespeople, if we could have 50, our chances of making more sales would be high. And it's a rational conversation, but it is not in and of itself complete. And that's why, there's always this bit of misalignment between these departments. That is just one way of looking at it.